And Apple being hit with the first charge under the EU's new Digital Markets Act, regulators accusing it of preventing App Store customers from being steered to alternative, cheaper options. Deirdre Bosa has the details for today's Tech Check. Dee.
Hey again, Leslie. So this all centers around the idea of Apple as gatekeeper. For years, right, Apple has taken a cut of revenue from companies in exchange for distribution through the App Store, typically 30% in exchange for access to its more than 2 billion devices. That model is under scrutiny on both sides of the Atlantic, with concerns that it's stifling competition. As per usual, European regulators proving faster and more nimble at bringing charges. This time under the DMA, that's a relatively new framework that could fine Apple as much as 10% of its worldwide revenue. In a statement, Apple says that it's confident their plan complies with the DMA. This could also have key implications for Apple's AI strategy. It could again employ that gatekeeper strategy to offer different large language models or chatbots. The Journal reports that Apple and Meta have held talks about integrating Meta's Gen AI model into Apple Intelligence. And let me first say that this is an incredibly unlikely alliance given their history and the tension on other tech issues like privacy and ad targeting. On one hand here, Apple is opening up its AI ecosystem to more players. It's already inked a deal, of course, to bring OpenAI's ChatGPT to iPhones. It signaled that it will later include Google's Gemini, adding Meta's Llama to the mix. That means more choice for consumers and way more reach for the models themselves, whether it's mega cap or startup. On the other hand, though, Apple would still control this ecosystem, and the Journal says it would keep a cut of subscription revenue, similar to how it does on the App Store. That could boost regulators' arguments that Apple has excessive control and could hurt smaller models that can't or don't comply with Apple's rules. Regulation aside, though, guys, this is also a fascinating development for the AI arms race at large. By offering multiple models, and there's a few others here listed that have been flagged or reported that Apple may be offering, if this strategy plays out, this would further commoditize all of them, large language models, telling users that they can basically pick whichever one works for them, and they're not all that different. And guys, it reminds me a little of covering the app economy in the early days. Silicon Valley darlings that raised billions and billions of dollars. The profitability, the path to profitability was never clear. Several big players, they remain now, but there's a graveyard of rideshare, scooter, food delivery, social media companies that went bust in the shakeout. And what we know about the Gen AI boom right now, especially at the startup level, is there are a ton of companies getting huge amounts of funding with unclear business models, let alone paths to profitabilities.
Deirdre, what does the Meta-Apple partnership tell you about how Apple feels with regard to where it's at in the AI ecosystem, given kind of their history of tensions, given Apple's history, and correct me if I'm wrong, of not really engaging in large-scale partnerships, kind of building things inside or, doing some select key acquisitions. Does that suggest to you that they may be, potentially desperately playing catch-up here?
I'm not sure if it's desperate, but I think you're right in that they're outsourcing some of that AI. But what they showed us at WWDC a week or 2 weeks ago now is that they have their own model. It's unclear how good that model is going to be, but it's supposed to give Siri a huge boost. And what we saw in that demo was really impressive. So Apple is creating its own generative AI, and it looks to be good enough for users, right? That is the key. It's supposed to be extremely efficient and productive for users, not necessarily developers or coders. They're outsourcing that part to the Geminis, the ChatGPTs, potentially the Metas of the world, a more advanced side. So, in such a way, they're kind of having their cake and eating it too. They're having one tier of generative AI that is going to be good enough for their users, which is more mainstream. And then they're going to allow users to use other more advanced models, but also potentially take a cut of that. So Apple has played its hand quite remarkably over the last few weeks, and it's amazing. They went from like AI laggard to almost the gatekeeper in the space now.
Yeah, second strike advantage. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Meantime, there's the impact on the phone cycle. Dee, I don't know if you saw Melius today. Ben Wrights takes his target to 260. He's saying that this will be an unprecedented iPhone era, $9 in earnings power, kind of like what we saw in 2021 when you had comps well into the double digits.
Right. So when Apple Intelligence launches, it's only going to be available to iPhone 15 Pros. I happen to have one, thankfully. I will not need to upgrade, but many people do not, right? The average iPhone cycle, I think it's around 3 or 4 years. So if you want access to all those features, you're going to have to upgrade. And I go back to what they showed us during WWDC. Extremely useful, extremely efficient. It's kind of like the less abstract AI that consumers are going to want if it works like it is supposed to. And that is a big if, Carl, right? We've seen so many products and features roll out over the last few years, and there's issues at the beginning. So if it all works well and good, then maybe we could see this huge upgrade cycle. But I think you have to see how Apple Intelligence is actually going to work in practice. Is Siri going to be that much better?
Yeah, and the privacy element, too, which is obviously one of the crown jewels of the Apple model, too. Thanks, Dee. Deirdre Bosa.